All right, hello, Realty Executives. Richard Neville here with a quick, or well, not quick. This is our webinar here on, listings to leads. It's really generate leads from Facebook, from social media ads, using listings to leads in Facebook with Instagram. Facebook and Instagram are owned by Facebook, and basically they tie together your accounts, where you could post an ad on Facebook that will also share onto Instagram. So, why run paid ads on social media? So basically, it gets you in front of people that you wouldn't normally be in front of. It can cement your position in the community to attract buyers and sellers. It's an effective advertising campaign can basically turn you or anybody who's, whether you're bigger or smaller, into, but you're most likely not as well known, a household name more or less, but you can kind of make yourself a household name with advertising, which is, ideal, but is that always going to happen? I mean, to be a household name, but I mean, without any advertising, it's going to be a lot harder. So what you can do through Facebook and the ad process in the ad manager, through Facebook's ad manager that also goes onto Facebook and Instagram, is you could target people that have never heard of you, like brand new people. And those are going to be, colder leads that might not be as, they're going to take longer to convert, and you're going to have to do a lot more nurturing with them than you would with another set where you can target specific people that you already have a connection to. And both of these here, I'll kind of show you today. And you can target your sphere using your database, or you can retarget using visitors from your website or L2L pages based off the Facebook pixel. And I will show you some basics on that. And if you have any questions, I'm always here for you. So just give me a call or email, and I can help you get your pixel set up within your accounts. And so some of the ads that you can set up you'll need the Facebook pixel in there, okay? So let's see here, and then basically the best way to send a message, to get in front of a lot of people, really, with advertising. Okay. So the first steps that you're going to do within Facebook, and I'm going to go through this step by step, but I just kind of wanted to give you a brief overview of what everything we're going through today is going to be. Whoops, I'm sorry about that. So we're going to be, whoops, sorry. If I touch my mouse, it ends up kicking me out of there. All right. So determine your realtor Facebook ad strategy. So basically, what before you even start to do an ad, you kind of want to think about it. What you're going to do. Okay. So who are you going to target? What is your goal? And what kind of ad are you going to use to achieve these goals? And then basically, you want to hire a converting campaign in order to get better leads. So, or to get more leads, I'm sorry. But really, some of this stuff has changed recently, like the demographics and stuff. So I mean, some of it, and I'm going to go through that here shortly. And just recently, which they haven't even gone into effect yet, but I know they just announced some of the target audience changes that they're going to make for what do they call it? Not high risk, but basically a housing market falls in the category of fair housing. So they're going to make decisions for you, basically, Facebook. Okay, and we'll take a look at that in a sec. All right. So choose number 2. Once you kind of thought of what you're going to do, now you have to determine your strategy, or I'm sorry, your campaign objective here. So, and what I mean by that is we're going to go through these a little bit deeper, or I could kind of talk about them here, I guess, and then we'll just pick them once we get in there. But so this is like kind of the first page when you go to create an ad. You're going to have to pick what your objective is. So is it really for brand awareness? What is brand awareness? Brand awareness gives realtors an edge by showing their ads to audience repeatedly to achieve recognition. The only goal for this really is to get your message out to a targeted audience over and over again, so the buyers or sellers will easily identify the message you're trying to send them. Okay. Reach is, we're in that awareness, so it's like to get to more people. So it's going to be how many people will receive your message over a period of time. and then it's you'll have like a tracking number and see how many people were reached throughout that period of time. Where brand awareness is really you're trying to drive that message home to these people. Okay, so whether it's so like that would be more for like your specific branding for your brand. Like for here's what I can do for you as a real estate agent. Kind of thing. So you get your face out there in front of the public, and they're going to see you more. I mean, you could do that also with a property, but with a property though, with the brand awareness, you don't have the ability to make a like clickable link to send them somewhere. So it's just going to be like them seeing an image or a video over and over. Okay, so let's move to consideration. Traffic, that's going to be more or less like traffic to your landing page or website. So here's like traffic consideration. So that's going to be like basically a lot of what we're going to be showing. What I'm going to be showing you today is going to be traffic, because that's going to be we're going to be using the listings to leads landing page, which then we want to send traffic to that web page. Okay. Engagement is going to be like people that it's going to display it more, your ads, to people who will engage with your post more. So like what do they mean by engagement? That's like liking it, commenting on it, maybe tagging their friends. So if it's a listing that that one of their friends might like or family member, they might tag them. So it's going to kind of put it in front of more people that are more likely to engage with that post. Okay. We're going to skip over app installs, and then video views. I mean, that's going to be pretty obvious. Video views. Hold on, I'm going to take a second sip of water here. Sorry, I'm speaking a little too fast, I think. Let me slow down. But video views, that's going to be like if you have a video you want to promote, whether it's a video about yourself, how you help buyers and sellers, or whether it's like a review that you made somebody, you and a client made a review video about yourself talking about how great you are, a virtual tour or something like that, where you want to get it out and to get as many views to that video as possible. And they used to be 3-second video views, but I'm pretty sure that is now, I'm not pretty sure. I mean, it's 10-second view. I don't know exactly when that changed, but you'll see like how many people saw your video for the first 10 seconds versus the full video. And now you'll see like the average length of what people watch. So, and that's where they get these numbers on like what's the ideal length of a video. And this year, I think it's around 73 seconds or something like that. I would double check that, but I think it's right around there is what that's not to say a longer video is worse. It's just depending on what your video is about. If you keep the people engaged for 5 minutes, that's great. But most likely people leave the video after 73 seconds. So you want to get your message and everything that you want in there to be able to convert them or to, get their consideration and to be their agent or whatever. You want to kind of get that within that first minute or so. And then lead generation. So this is going to be, this is where you actually, instead of sending them to a landing page or to a website, you can actually collect leads right through Facebook. And this would, or, whether it's for a listing or you're doing like a neighborhood report or seller tips or buyer's tips or something like that, where you're going to send them something. Like I did one of these for the open house extravaganza when we didn't have enough listings yet to start to promote individual listings. The end of last week, beginning of this week. There's Monday, there's 3. So we're not sending people to look at those 3 listings, but it's to get a list of the listings on Friday once we have the full list completed. So they would submit their information, and then I sent out the email to them with the full list of properties and a link to our website where that also has the properties. So it's the PDF as well as a link that went out to them on Friday afternoon. So it's not, you're not sending them to a landing page. They're not going to leave Facebook. So some of these leads they're not going to be as good to some degree because it takes less ability for you to capture it, if that makes sense. So it's very easy for them just to hit learn more, and then boom, you just captured their email and phone or email name. But you might get more of those which I have actually seen less of them compared to landing pages. So, but just so you know, there's a difference in quality, and based on what I know and what I've learned, some of these leads aren't the leads straight from here aren't as good of a quality, but that's starting to change because before you used to not get any of these through the lead gen on Facebook, but now that more people are kind of accustomed to it, you're getting more and more, which might not be as valuable. They might not be as ready to convert, more or less. I mean, they're still in that process, but maybe they're, instead of 6 months, 4 months out, they're more that 12 to 18. So it's going to cost more to convert them over a period of time. And then to wrap up with these is conversion. So conversion, this is, we're not going to talk about the product catalog sales or the store visits because those don't really apply. But conversions are going to be based off of like Facebook pixel tracking codes. So, which we're not going to get into today, but if you're using the pixel and you want to start to retarget those people that starting to go to your landing pages and or your website or wherever you put your pixel, this one will require a second pixel. So it would be the conversion pixel, which would be like a lead form, or contact form on your page, or if it was some sort of e-business, that they purchase something, that they're at the purchase page, but for us, it would mostly be like the lead would be the one that you'd want to add. And it's not hard to do, but it's going to take too much time to go through it in this short webinar today. So we're not going to go over that, but I'm more than willing to do another video on it and, or meet with you in person about that. Okay, so moving on. So now we kind of went through, what you're selecting, whether it's, brand awareness, reach, traffic, whatever. So now you're going to start to define your audience. And like I said, we're going to go through this process here shortly, but I just kind of want to give you the brief overview of it here. So defining your audience. So this is basically like demographic information, which, like I mentioned earlier, is constantly changing with Facebook after each lawsuit, more or less. So and then spending limits, budget, and then ad placement. Ad placement refers to like, do you want it on Instagram? Do you want it in? They have it like audience network is what's called, and I'll go into a little more detail on that. But do you want it to show up in a story, in stories? I would just leave this stuff alone for right now until you get more advanced with it. Whoops. But we'll just, sorry. So you know how it exists. We'll kind of touch on it, but for the most part, I mean, unless you want to just you don't use Facebook really, you're just using the Facebook's ad manager to send something to Instagram, let's say. So you just want to select Instagram. I can show you that. We'll show you what they are a little bit, but for the most part, it's going to really kind of pick for you based off of your ad and what types of users interact with your type of ad. So if you let Facebook do the work, it's going to know a lot more than you do at this point. But once you start to do this more often and you dig into the details, you can start to pinpoint where exactly you want it to go. But I would say for now, just leave this section alone. Okay. All right. So let's move on. So like I mentioned, there's some changes. So just this week, or it might have been last week actually, since today's Tuesday. But what they're doing is for any business that's targeting people in the housing market, employment, or credit ads, they're getting rid of the age, gender, and zip code options. Or they might still be there, but if you mess with them, they're not going to approve your ad. So right now they're still in there. So we'll still see them, but are they going to approve the ad or not is the question. And how long, if they do approve the ad today, are they going to not approve it tomorrow? But more or less, they're getting rid of these options for anything related to housing. With that said, if you're doing this is where it gets in the gray areas, like maybe you're doing an ad promoting yourself and not a specific listing. Now that's where, does that still apply? I'm not the legal person, but, I don't think so, but because you're not listing a specific property, you're just kind of promoting yourself. So if you wanted to not promote yourself to 13-year-olds, which I mean, I think it's 18 anyways, but you get my point. You know, you're able to adjust that stuff. And by some of these other features, which we will go through here in a second, like or some of the targeting options, I'm sorry, which I'll go through in a second, you're able to kind of weed some like by age and stuff like that out, and you'll see gender based off. Well, I guess you'll see. We'll kind of go through it, but zip code, you're still able to put in like a single like a property address and then go around that from 1 mile and up, and then you can go by city, and that's like 10 miles and up, like radius around it. So you're still able to kind of get in there pretty good, but just not as good. You know, if you wanted to only target people in the 91381 zip code, you're not able to do that. Well, I currently you are, but it's going away. All right. Blah 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 blah. They're getting rid of this stuff. Okay. So because they're protected classes and stuff like that. Okay. So based on that, there's like life events that you can choose that might help you target people if with some of these features going away. Because I mean, they used to have likely to move and you know, homeowners and stuff like that, where you can target just homeowners who are likely to move, and it really made it easier for you. But now they're really making it more difficult by getting rid of a lot of these real estate oriented targeting options. But as you can see here, and I stole this slide from somewhere else, and I don't even know, it was a picture that I took or that I got that had some information cut off. So I think this is from 2016, and I don't have the exact like details of where it came from. But as you can see, and I mean, this was from another, you know, social media event that I got it from. And basically what it shows is influence of life events on decisions to move. These correspondents who experience a life event in the last 12 months, and here's the life events they experienced that kind of push them closer to that moving point. And getting married was the number one, and separated or divorced is number two. And these are options that you could search by and target people off of, whether they have an infant that's between 3 and 6 months old, or I forget all the little fine details of them, but you know, just got married or just got engaged, you know, separated, divorced, did they recently graduate from school, or you know, did they change of employment, or are they relocation, you know, stuff like that are some potential ways you can kind of target in on people based off of life events rather than you know, some of the options that they like the likely to move and you know, stuff like that have been removed by Facebook. So I just want to touch on those because I thought it was kind of interesting and an additional way to try to target people that is still available to you. Okay. All right. So now that we kind of picked what you're doing, who you're sending it to, how much you're spending, and where it's going, it's now you have to put in what you're going to be sharing out. And today we're going to be sharing out the links from listings to leads. But really, we'll go through some different options, or I'll show you the different things that they have, which are like videos. You can do carousel ads, which are multi you know, different images and links, and then we'll kind of look at those. But for the most part, you want to have some good copy in there, which is this is going to be where your text goes. You want a good image, and then where you're sending them the link in this case, okay? So with that stuff said, let's go ahead and do it, all right? So let's get out of here. Let me go over. So when you're in your Facebook page, everything's going to go through the ad manager, okay? Through whether you're sharing it, I guess in Instagram you can, if you could like boost, kind of quote unquote boost a post and in Instagram directly, but it ultimately go through your ad manager, all right? And that'll show up in your ad manager. But just like you can boost a post through Facebook, but more or less they changed this around. It used to go here to, like you could go to this manage ads right here. They have this create button up here. I don't know if you've noticed it yet, but create, and there's going to be create ad. So that's where we're going to go to start off. And then let me just get out of this. I already opened it up. I have multiple accounts, so I'm already in the right account here. So this is that first page that you see, like we looked at, where we went through these brand awareness, traffic, engagement, video views, lead generation, messages. Kind of got cropped off in that one. But that's where you can, if you just want to get a direct message from your post directly to you, that's an option as well. All right. So let's take a look in here. So first, and here's what we were talking about, the objective. Now your ad set, which has your, where it's going, who your audience is, and your budget. And then this would be the visual part and text of your ad. So those were those sections that we just kind of discussed. And we're going to go through each one of those step by step. Right now, we're in the campaign objective here. And we're going to, like I mentioned earlier, choose traffic. Okay? And here's where you could name it. I would kind of just name it something, if it's your marketing, like in this case, a specific property, name that property. Or, if you're doing a brand awareness ad on a new, some video that you did, an About Me video, just name something that this is going to be for you to see later, so you can start to look at, how many clicks it got and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Is it necessary? Do you have to change this name? No, but it just will make it easier for you after you start creating more ads. So if you had them all labeled traffic, you're not going to know exactly which until you start clicking into it, which one is the one that you actually want to look at to see which one performed better, All right, so I'm just going to name this 1234 Main Street, like my example here. And then let's do coming soon. So I have that one already made. All right. And then for now, depending on what your level is, I would not mess with these. Basically, split test is going to be, do you want to do an A/B test, which is you have maybe a photo of the interior of your house and then a photo of the exterior of your house in the ad, and you want to see which one performs better to see, like for testing whether or not you want to use maybe the pool shot versus the kitchen, and you'll see, okay, the people you got way more leads off of that pool shot than you did the kitchen shot. And then this is where you could have two separate ads that are running at the same time that will kind of give you that data to know what worked better in the ad. And then this budget optimization, this is where you're gonna you could set it's not a budget really, but it's like cost per whatever. Like in this case, click or landing page view. But then you'd have to, without knowing how much it's going to cost, if you don't run any ads, if you don't have an idea of what it's going to cost per click or per lead landing page view, then this is going to confuse you more than anything. So just leave everything alone for now, and then that way you can start to get used to how this stuff works, and then you can start to play with it once you have some data in. Okay? All right. So here we have our ad set now. So we skipped, if we look over here to the left, we've set our objective. So step one is done, and now we're kind of working our way through this ad set. So we can name this. So say you were doing, Santa Clarita area. So we're going to do it around Santa Clarita, and then we could put more specifics in there. Maybe we're going to do like married and recent child, something like that. I don't know how to name that, but we'll just leave it like this. But you could get more detailed in this. So if you're going to have like separate areas, which we can look at some of my custom audiences in a minute, and you'll see I have them more detailed. But for this, I'm going to keep it kind of open. And we can see over here, we have our potential reach right now, because we haven't selected anything yet, is 220 million people. So we definitely need to refine that down, okay? If anybody has any questions, let me know. I'm going to just check the chat box here. I don't see anything in there, but okay. All right, so we want to go website. So we're just going to leave that alone. That's going to be your default option. But you can see here, there's some other ones. Messenger, WhatsApp, app. Dynamic creative. So this is, I would leave this alone for now. But if you want to start playing with it later, basically you can, it's going to be, Facebook thinks it knows everything about everybody, which we know that it doesn't. But if you export all your data from Facebook, you'll see that they have a lot of wrong information about you in there. But well, I guess it depends on if you filled it out properly to begin with, or if you lied like me. But more or less, they are going to using this dynamic creative. They're going to determine. So say you put in one headline, or you put in 3 different headlines, 3 different images, 3 different copy text for the actual post, and then Facebook is going to basically take those 9 different sections and then plug and play them together into the one best ad for that particular person. I haven't had great success with it. I mean, so far playing around with it, it seems like one version always tends to stand out above the rest, and that's like usually the first version that I went to go put in. So you can try it out, but for now I would just leave it alone because it'll probably confuse you more than anything. And then offer is going to be like, say you wanted to make an offer for people. I mean, that's going to be, and then so they can get reminders and stuff. But for now, we're going to skip all this stuff. We're just going to worry about our audience, okay? Because I don't want to make it too difficult for you. So we have to create, if you've never been in here, which I'm trying to make this video for people who've never been in here, you're going to create an audience, okay? And then if you've been in here before, you have like all these different saved audiences. If you save it, and that way, which I would suggest saving it, because we'll take a look here when we wrap up. Like if you go to boost a post, you can go and just select, because usually boosting a post is a little bit different than the ad. It used to be completely different, but now they're making them very, very similar. But where it helps is to have saved audiences in there. So then that way you're able to just select from your saved audience, and then you don't have to, you could quickly run an ad based off of a post you've already posted and target those people really quickly in a matter of seconds. You know, you can have that ad running. So in like this whole process going through, you won't have to do over and over again because you'll have stuff saved in here, and then that way you won't have to keep reinventing the wheel. You just go to your saved audience, boom, all that criteria that you put in here, and you can see, you know, this is Burbank plus 10, Palmdale plus 10, Realty Executive, or Santa Clarita, I'm sorry, plus 10, age ranges, which that's going to be they're going to be getting rid of that. And then we have like interests, and if you can see here in the excluded area, excluded people who are, you know, real estate brokers, real estate agent, salesperson, and their job title. So you can kind of go through, and then, you know, like people who are interested in, you know, real estate website, you know, the major websites, who have been engaged for months, you know, and some different things in there, you know, retirees. So you're able to create these different audience types, save them, as well as reuse them, okay? And then one last thing before we continue on here, there is this custom audience here too. So what you could do is so these are all different now than the saved audiences, if you see. So custom audience is going to be like I mentioned earlier, where if you wanted to create a new one, let's go create new, custom audience. This is where you can use a customer file. This is where I was talking, where you could upload like your data from your spreadsheet. Then that way you're able to target your sphere of influence, people that you already know. So now these cost per conversion is going to cost you a lot less, because what do we know? Like over 60% of most agents, on average, an agent's business comes from their sphere or past clients. So like this is where now you can stay in front of those people. So it's going to cost you less, because you're not going to have to, you know, there's the 220 million people, which we're going to refine down here in a sec. But you're probably going to, if you just do all Santa Clarita, off the top of my head, I think it's like over 200,000, like untargeted. So like that's a lot of people, and you're not going to hit all 200,000 of those people. Not that you even want to, because all 200,000 are not in the market for real estate. But if you have 300, 400, 500,000 people, you can run an ad for $1 per day across a month and stay in front of those people for $31 or 28 depending on the month, and stay top of mind with people you already know, and then that way when it's time to come for them to give a referral, or they're thinking about selling or buying again, then you're top of mind with them. Okay. And then we mentioned earlier, like website traffic. So with the pixel, this is where now if you have a pixel installed and you're tracking people, basically, you can now retarget your ad to these people that are already warm. They've already been to your website. So now once again, cost per conversion can go down, because these are all people that already know who you are and have already been to either your website, or you've already had them as a lead, something like that. So once again, more than likely a lower cost per conversion. All right. So those are the custom audiences, but we're going to just go ahead and create a new one so we can go through some of these options here. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to change this, everyone in this location, which might be okay for certain types of ads, but we want to target people who live in this location, because we have a lot of people that come through based on, they're traveling down the 5, or they're just going to Magic Mountain or whatever it is. So you don't necessarily need those people to see your ad. You're going to be wasting money on those people, right? So if we just go to people who live in this location, that's going to cut us down a lot, but we haven't even targeted anything yet. So let's get rid of United States, and let's go to like Santa Clarita. All right, so Santa Clarita plus 25, that's a little, let's just go to 10. And we're like 320,000 people, which is still very, very high. But let me see here. Let me show you just one thing else. Let me get rid of this. So that's how you do like a city, which is pretty easy, right? Just type in the city. You can adjust that from 10 to 50 miles, and then you'll target all these people in this area. At this point, it's between 18 and 65 plus. So that's pretty much everybody who's of age, which would be 9,300,000 people. Okay, so we need to get that down. But let's get rid of this for a second, just so I can show you. If you just put in a specific address, let me put it in the office here. Old Road, Valencia. So now this gives us the ability to go down within 1 mile. So say you want to target somebody in just around a specific neighborhood, you're not able to get just in that neighborhood, but you can go within 1 mile of that residential address or commercial address, whatever that address. So you can see that cuts us down to 11,000 people. Boom, we just jumped down a lot right there. So see how that works. So let's take a look at that. So you can go by city. Oops. Or you can go by address, or the zip code will still work, but eventually it's going to be removed as an option for real estate agents. Okay, or well, at least if you're targeting something for housing. So whether you could still potentially, based on how restrictive they get, knowing that you're a real estate agent, they might not allow it at all, based on Facebook's rules. But theoretically, if you want to do an ad about, a customer testimonial of a house that you did in a specific neighborhood, and they're, raving about you, you could potentially target down to that zip code, okay, without it being, crossing their line of rules. Okay, so we have those different options of way to search, as location, to select a location to target around. Let's go here. Let's go 26. Let's just move this around a little bit. So let's just say we selected our area, but we're still at 220,000 people, which is a lot. So, like I said, we can't move these around. Languages, we can't. You can, but I don't recommend that much either. So now these detailed targeting. So this is where you can go into exclude people and include people. And what it does here is you're including people that must match at least one of the following. So they don't have to match all of these. So if you put something in here, if you have 10 different things in here, as long as they match one of those options, then they'll be included. All right. So let's take a look at some of the ones that they have available here. Like I used in some of those other examples, you did people who like major websites. Is that is it a 100% that they are in the market because they like that? No, but they're more likely in the market than not at some point here. So, but this is gonna be up to you. But let me just show you what some of them are. So let's go like realtor.com. And we'll see here there's interest in behavior, they're just interests for here. And there's different spellings. So it's up to you. This one looks like it's the higher one. So we'll go with that one. That's the one that people actually use. And then, so that dropped us down a bunch from 200 and, what was that, 220 before I did that. So that's obviously, so then if you throw in more, and then see here, this is employers versus interests. So you're going to want to choose interests, but how you could use that employers to say, like, I know I helped an agent before when Logix was first announced that they were moving their headquarters or whatever it was up to Santa Clarita. We were targeting people from Logix. So, oops. Well, either way, who worked there. So I forget what exactly we did for that, what the title was that was for their employment, but you can target employees of a certain company. So, so they see it, which will get you down a lot less people. So let's go back to Julia. So now we have some people that we know that are likely to have interest in real estate needs, right? At least in the recent future, or in the past or future here, or either looking or have been looking, something like that. With the real estate related things, you can put in real estate, but real estate interests. But that could be, you can pull in some realtors too. But that's where you could exclude people. So if you put that in, you could do like real estate investors. Oops. Investing, interest. You could do like those married, relationship status married, or you could do like just married, or recently. So you could have like friends have recently moved. If we looked at that one graph again, there's people who, if their friends moved, they might be more likely to move. So maybe you want to do something like that, where now since their friend just moved and got this nice new house, maybe they're now starting at looking at moving themselves because they've got to keep up with the Joneses. So I mean, all of these might not be perfect for what your needs are. But so like say maybe you had I know we did one before with an agent who had something on an equestrian area, So we did like they were into horses. So horseback riding, horse trainer, horse raiding, horse breed. There's all these different options for horses in here. Equestrian facilities, interest. So you can start to tailor it to that specific house if you're, depending on what house you're doing. And you can see this is now we're to 100,000 people. Let's just throw in a few more and then we'll move on. Okay. There's infant. Recently moved. No, I'm trying to look at. So there's like newborn, new parents, sorry, some of these I forget off the top of my head what the keywords are, but new parents, so 0 to 12 months, that might be a new one. Newlywed, that's might be the good one because the so 1 year, 6 months, 3 months, that gives you different time frames of when they were married. Newly engaged, that might be some new ones, some good ones here for you. So I'm just going to select one in here, but whoops, newlyweds, 1 year. So let's get that rid of that, and you can see that jumped it down really far, and I don't know why that would necessarily. So fewer than 1,000. So keep an eye on that. If something does that, I would kind of get rid of that one because there's something in there that's causing it to jump it down a lot. But anyways, okay, so you can go through those and play with them and then see what works for you. If you wanted to exclude now like real estate agents, you can do that. So we have interest, real estate broker, realtors. So but these you'd want like job title and not interest. So that's not the right one. So we'd want to go to real estate agent, broker, job title here. So we'd want like these few here. So, and then if we go browse, we're able to look at some more. So we want browse, demographics, work, industries, but we know what it is. And that's where you can dig down into some of these if you're not sure where they are. Real estate broker, job title. So now we're cutting people out, all right? Why did that jump down again? Sorry. Something added in there made it go down a little bit, so I'm just trying to see based off of these, the size here. And nothing is looking, so something within that exclude people. So you can take a look, but that's kind of how it works if you want to exclude those. But I just need to keep moving here because we're getting bogged down in this. But real estate broker. So I don't know why it's doing that. That's not normal. But if you see that, I don't want you to spend any money on if it's going down, if it goes into that red like that. So just try to get rid of it because that could screw up your targeting, and I don't want to see that. If you have that, we can dig deeper into it, but I don't want to dig into it right now because we got to keep moving. All right, but you can see we have our kind of target range of people that have a lot of these different life events and interests and things in here. Okay. I would leave this stuff alone because if we did like people who like are friends of this page, then that's going to be only people who are friends of this page that also meet this criteria. All right. So you're refining it down more. This is just any of these. It just has to be one of these. But then if you add it into a connection type, then it has to be a connection plus one of these. All right. So that's going to refine your audience down most likely to too few. All right, so now once you have all that set and you have it ready to go, you can just save this audience. And then that will be, let's just do test audience for class. And then we'll save it. And then that way, when you go back to this any other time, you're able to just use this test audience. So we have it here, select it now. So this is using a saved audience test for class. And then if you ever want to come back and edit it, you can go ahead and do that, okay? All right, this is those placements, which is recommended. Just use the automatic placements because, like I said, they're gonna deliver it based on your budget and what you want, what your goal is through this objective, where it's gonna put those to get the best results for you. Okay, because they know who interacts with posts. Like me, I go and like your agent stuff, but I don't comment on anything. I don't share stuff usually out to my personal page ever, so my personal activity is a lot different than it would be on the business side. But they know that, somebody might comment on every single post. So they're going to put yours out in front of them if you selected engagement as, your goal. So it's going to know more than you. But you can always edit this. And like I mentioned earlier, if you wanted to only go to Instagram, you can just get rid of all of these. Like Messenger, Audience Network. Audience Network, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but that is like, maybe you clicked on a link and then you ended up on like whatever foodnetwork.com or something's website, and then you see an ad for some real estate company in there. So that's kind of how that works. All right, but anyways, Instagram. If you just wanted to go to Instagram, you just unselect all these and then only leave Instagram selected, and then that way your ad will only be going to Instagram. Okie dokie. So we'll just switch it back. And then here's your budget. So budget is going to be up to you, you know? So there's daily budget and lifetime budget. So what it has here is this is like basically, just remember this, don't leave it by default here. Because if you read this one here, it's just going to continuously run your ad starting today without an end date, spending $140 per week. So you probably want to take a second and adjust this, okay? So by clicking this, that'll add an end date, but that's for a month. So you could go back and say, you know, well, we're doing this for a listings a lead. So let's just say we're going to do it for starting Friday, and then we want it to end on Sunday. So let's go like Friday afternoon. That should be okay. And we want it to end, you know, like 9 o'clock on Sunday night. We'll set that, and you know, whether you want it to be $20 a day or whatever it is, that's what you're going to set. Oops, that's 5 days. How did I mess that up? Oh, there we go. Friday. So now we have it for 2 days for $45. Or, you know, if you wanted it to go to $5 a day, you know, that's going to be up to you how much you want to spend, what your budget is. But that's kind of how you do it. If you wanted to go with the lifetime budget, this is where you can set like, okay, that's a daily budget of $5. It's going to max out at $5 every day. This is going to be, you know, if we go back to here and we do a $5 oops, sorry. We go to here, nope. So basically, since this is over, it's 2 full days. It's a little bit more than 2 full days. So the minimum you could do, just so you know, is $1 per day. So since this is over 2 days by, you know, several hours, then it's going to make me spend at least $3. But I mean, you could spend $50,000 on here if you wanted to. So, but minimum is the $1 per day, and then you would just select your range of days, whether you wanted to spend throughout the whole course of the time, or you just want to have a daily budget for each one of those days. So once again, up to you. But that's how you adjust those. All right. So here's what we have here. This is giving a little pop-up here to get more people to your ads landing page. Switch to ad views or landing page views. I've done it both ways a number of times, and I don't necessarily see a huge difference in the numbers, to be honest. But these could be a little more confusing to some degree because they will click the link, end up on your page, and the analytics will show that they're on your page, but then it doesn't count as a landing page view. It counts as a link click, but not, and it gets a little confusing. So I mean, I would try it both ways maybe, but like this is going to show you. But see what it is it just delivers it differently to people, I guess, is the way that they have it. But it's going to be a little more confusing in the analytics. So this is going to deliver it to more people that are more likely to end up on a landing page, where this is going to deliver it to more people who are more likely to click on it, which it's one of these weird things. I don't know what to tell you here, except for these would be the 2 options that you'd want to choose. I didn't see a huge difference in numbers as far as getting more people to it when selecting landing page views versus the click views. But when you're looking at the analytics, it changes the way that it comes out. So it's going to give you like a much higher cost per landing page view, even though you might have, say, 100 people clicked your link, but it says it only had 10 people that went to your landing page view. It's a little confusing. So link click will be easier for you to read at the end. Just so you know. But it's advising for landing page views. So if you want to do what Facebook advises you to do, you could select that. But just so you know, you're not going to see much of a difference there. All right, whichever one you choose. And then let's just leave this stuff alone because we're starting to run short, and this isn't anything that you really need to get involved in right now until you start to know how much you want to bid for your but you're not at the level of bidding yet. So and that's basically, what does that mean? That means like if you want say there's 5 agents marketing in around a property right now, and if you have a higher bid cap set, then your ad will be shown instead of their ad. If because you're willing to spend more per landing page view than your competitor is, so Facebook's gonna outweigh that. They're gonna override their ad and show your ad because you're willing to spend more money to get somebody to click on your ad. Okay, so that's what it means. But until you know what's a good cost per landing page view, you could end up costing yourself more money and getting less people to your landing pages because you're spending more money per view rather than just letting Facebook kind of help you out with that. All right. Okay. But anyways, let's move on. So that's what we have here. So we went through the traffic, where we're going, which is the website. We skipped over the dynamic creative and offer, but I kind of explained what that is. We set our audience with some criteria, and we targeted them down from we cut it in about half of the people, which is going to reach here from, based on our daily budget, it's going to reach between 269 to 1,700 people with 6 to 41 landing page views based off of our criteria, our target audience, as well as our budget, okay? And then it's gonna be optimized for landing page views. So we have everything set, and we're gonna go ahead and continue. All right. So, so now you could rename this as well. It's up to you. We're gonna skip that part right now just so we can keep moving forward. And then we're going to have our identity. So this is going to be our Facebook page that it's going to be shared on, and then this here is going to be our Instagram account. So you want to select that if you have an Instagram, so then that way your ad is going to be running tied to your Instagram account as well as tied to your Facebook account. All right. This is going to be for creating a brand new ad, which we'll do. But say you already shared out your post, and this is similar to boosting here now. So you could take an existing post and then select it from the posts that are already on your page. Okay? And then that will speed things up for you. And like I said, this is kind of where where the boosting kind of merged with the Facebook ad. So more or less, you can do all the same stuff now in the boost, except for create a new ad. All right? So so basically, if you already have it posted, you could select from here. And if you need to create the ad, you have nothing created yet, then we would just start from the create ad, okay? So we'll reselect that. But remember, if you've already posted it, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You could just select it from a post that you've already created, okay? Just so you know, this exists now. This is a new feature that's only a few months old. And it makes it basically like you're able to boost a post right from the ad manager. All right, so we're going to use the single image video, but you could do like a carousel where you have multiple images with multiple links, and then here would be multiple images that will go to like this full screen mobile experience. Okay, but you're sending people to our landing page of our listings to leads. All right, we're skipping over this instant experience. That's good, but for real estate, it's not the greatest right now. So because it's like getting them to buy specific products, which we don't really have. I mean, unless you have like multiple properties or open houses or something, that might work for you. But for a single property, it's not right up to speed right yet. Okay, so let's keep going down to media. So we can skip over all this stuff. All right, we're going to skip all the way down to website URL. All right, so let me go over to listings leads. I'm going to go over to, so this is our listings to leads. You'd go log in, go to your listings. I'm going to use this Main Street one, or September, October. I'm going to use this main circle, I guess. All right, so from here, I'm just going to go to my, oh no, let me go back to this other one. Main Street. So this is the coming soon one. All right, so we're going to send this landing page. So all you need to do is we just went to this social media post add your social media. If you click this little, like the duplicate thing, or two sheets of paper, whatever you want to call them, two squares on top of each other, that's the copy button. You just click that. That copied the URL to my clipboard. So we're just going to come back over here, hit paste, and then that's going to go ahead and pull in our artwork, pull in our text, a lot of our text and stuff like that. Our headline, which you can edit here, Santa Clarita. Since it cut off Clarita, we'll put that in there. And then you could change this if you learn more to book now, contact us, whatever. So this is the only area that you'd want to kind of change here. So to get current photos and details and more, that's like your call to action that gets pulled in here. So we can maybe just go return down, and then we'd want to put something in here. And this is where you put some emojis and stuff. So if there are like plug extensions to get emojis, or you could do it from your phone, but let's just say text. What for coming soon, here's like some good stuff. You want to be, so coming soon, Santa Clarita, we kind of already have that down in our headline. Let's kind of repeat it. Maybe this is Saugus. And just so you know, like if you do like 1, 2, 3, 4 Main Street in Saugus, that's not going to convert as well as just Saugus, because a lot of people don't know where 1, 2, 3 Main Street is Saugus, but they know the general Saugus is it traditionally. I mean, it might be like if you have like if you're targeting people within 1 mile of that address, then that address might be more beneficial. But in general, by getting it just to the general city is going to be better than putting it down into the specific 1, 2, 3 Main Street up in here in your text. Okay, coming soon in Saugus. Hitting the so you could so like hitting the market or launching or going live, something like that. So you're creating that anticipation. So you're coming soon in Saugus, hitting the market in 5 days. Whoops. Oh God, I can't spell today. And 5 days. Be the all right. Let me see. Or we can just get rid of this and get the current price, photos, details now. That's good. That's decent right there. So coming soon, Saugus, hitting the market in 5 days. Get the current blah 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 blah. There you go. So now there's some you're creating that anticipation. You're letting them know that it's coming soon into what area, and that if they click here, let's just go click here to get the current price, photos, and detail, blah blah blah. And you could even throw in another like, call me at 661 555 5555 for a private showing. There you go. And then, if you have the ability to get some emojis in there, that does help to slow people down. I don't have one, but if you look up like emoji extensions for Chrome, if you use Chrome or whatever browser, it's called extensions, and you could add those in, and where you like I have these extensions up here, where you could just click it and then grab an emoji. I use my messages that's built into the Apple, so it makes it a lot easier for me than you. But if you use one of those extensions, you're able to do it. All right. So if this is because you can go to stories. So if you wanted to have like a different color for your story background, for those who are familiar with stories, you can kind of put in your custom colors if you wanted. We'll leave that alone. And then we have our headline. We have our learn more button. And then you can go and put this display link and stuff in here. But for now, what does that mean? So if we look at this version, this is the headline. We don't have a display link in, and this is the newsfeed description, is the get the current price, photos, details, and more. So we're just going to leave that alone. But if you wanted, you could, put in something else here. So if we put in test, that should get rid of that. Yep, see? But if we get rid of that, I might have just, it just has the generic one from the website. All right, and then I have my pixels in here, and then really that's all you have to do. Hit confirm, boom. Then it's going to, which I'm going to cancel here before they actually go into review it. But you'll see once it does go in, you'll see draft. It's uploading now. If we see this, publishing 2, 3, and then it'll say in review instead of in draft. And then that way within the next, it could take, the longest it's ever taken is about maybe 5 or 7 hours to get reviewed, but normally it's like in the first few minutes, okay? And then if you wanted to edit it, you can come back in here and edit whichever part you want by clicking these options over here. So this is, since this is not, it's still in review, the editing features are see how they're grayed out because it's not actually published yet. So there's nothing really to edit. But so here you can edit some stuff, but some of the things are locked in until it gets published. So if you want to change the budget, all that stuff, you would just use this selection over here in order to select a different. This is your objective, this is your target audience, your budget, that stuff, and this is your ad. Remember those 3 sections that we went through? Those are our 3 sections in here that you can go ahead and edit. And then, boom, it's going to start to go and run, and you will be all set and start collecting leads off of this landing page. Let's remember this is, so when then somebody clicks it, it's going to bring them over to this page. If I click on here, it gives, now you just collected my information. That easy. And then it has the option to get the phone. Like you don't have to, but, and then boom. And then I already heard the buzz on my phone from my lead notification on my phone. So it's a great tool to use in order to start collecting leads. And this is the luxury flyer, or the luxury property, single property website on Listings to Leads. So you're able to choose this option if you want, but you have to upload your own images because the MLS pushes them out from at a lower resolution than required for this page here, but you're able to do that. If you wanted, if you have any questions, let me know. But everybody, that's going to be it for today. This is how you do a Facebook ad. One last thing, if you wanted to do a boost post, let me just go over to a boost post here, and I could show you it's the same process. Sorry, it's not the same process, but let's see. I guess I saw some boost. Okay, so we hit boost here. It will allow you now to, these some options where it'll just boost this up to get it to more people. But here's what I want to show you is now that you have this audience in here, you go ahead and you could refine that in more detail, or you can do choose from your custom audiences. So now we just created this one, test for class. So now you're able to just boom, quickly have these interests, all that stuff done, so you don't have to keep reinventing the wheel every single time you do this. You can find, get an audience set up. That way you can just go in here and select that. Or if you have the custom audience, so if you had like your sphere of influence, boom, you can just target your sphere of influence very simply without having to go upload your database, all that stuff each time. So then you just set your budget, boom, hit post or boost, and then now you're running your ad in a matter of seconds rather than having to go through this whole Initially, you're going to have to set that audience, of course, but um, instead of starting here, going to ad, doing all that stuff, and copy and pasting the link and putting it in. If you've already posted it out, you can just hit that boost post and now start to use those custom or saved audiences in order to get your post out in front of more people a lot faster. All right, everyone, thank you so much. Hopefully you found that useful and want to, try it out yourself. I appreciate you taking the time. I'm finishing up here. I don't see any questions in here, so I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you again. I will talk to you later. Bye now.